All right, guys, we are on an adventure looking for some ancient ruins in this area. We already spotted some walls. Check this out. Right up here, you can see there's a wall of ruins right there. Look at that's an old ruin site for sure. So there's little bits of pottery here all over. Pretty cool. There's some with paint on it even right there. It's because this whole area is an ancient ruin site. Look at this rubble. This is an old site here. When we come up around, I'll show you. Look, you can just see all kinds of little bits of pottery strewn throughout here. Look at that. These are mounds of once structures built through here. All this was structure. All of this area at one point was probably some big dwellings, maybe a great house through here. And now what's left is just this rubble. And this stuff's been excavated in the past by different universities, so we know that this definitely was a site. But all of this is ruins. So look at this. This was an old wall right here. This is actually super crazy. So you see how this is just sticking up like this? This too, these rocks were straight up. Like, how did they move something that massive? Look at that. They had probably had multiple people moving these big pillars. There's a whole wall here. Look, you can just see it. Here's one, here's one, here's one. It just goes all the way down. And literally right here, near the pathway, a piece of corrugated pottery here. See that? How cool is that? You can see these rock pillars were probably straight up at one point, like this, along this whole kind of wall area here. But this thing is massive. Like, it took some strength to move that. You can see these, it's like a wall foundation all around here. See how it's stacked up like that? So you can see, guys, that archaeologists have been here before. These are what they call the primary datums, the P datum, this guy right here. So from this point, they measure out everything else. And that's how they survey this whole area and document it. But it's crazy how just this whole area is rubble. Check it out, guys. Right here, some little pieces of painted pottery. You can see how they have those black lines painted on them. How wicked is that? Whoa, guys, no way! Check out these ruins over here. Wow. It's like in a circle shape here. And there's little pieces of pottery scattered throughout. Look at that. There's little pieces everywhere. But check out this little circular structure. It's like a wall all the way around here. Wow. These walls, big rocks. Little pieces of pottery again, there and there as well. This looks like a chunk of pottery here. It's got brown paint, which I don't feel like I see too often. It's usually just black, but the brown is cool to see. There's the wall we were just looking at right there. This is a whole, what they think was an old great house here. You can see all the rubble through there. And even up here right next to me, we've got different structures as well, kind of circular structures. could see how this was maybe a wall at some point, you know, stacked up like that. It's amazing to see the megalithic wall here though that we were just looking at. Check out this piece, guys, it's super awesome. So I was talking to one of the students, archaeology students, he said that they would take a reed and just poke it one after the other to get this cool texture. Guys, check out these cool pottery pieces with the paint. Some different styles here too. Look at that. Some amazing pieces here. You can see that was a rim. So these are some cool pieces, guys. Apparently how they'd make this is they'd roll out long pieces of clay and they would kind of layer the pieces in circles kind of on top of each other to make that cool design where it's basically a flat circle all the way around.
Yeah, and yeah, so they would grind corn on it or like anything else they would grind together. This is nice orange stuff too. Ooh, that's a good one.
It's crazy.
Well, it's you first.
All right, guys, we got a high view here. We can see the village down there. Pretty wicked. And over here, you can see some other ruins down there. And the circular kiva right there. So guys, there's this cool wall right here, which some archaeologists think could have been a spot to hold water at some point. You can see how it's stacked up like that all the way across. All right, guys, we're at the top of this giant mound here, and all this is ruined structures. Holy smokes, so cool. Look, you can see some of these walls perfectly intact down there still. It's kind of just like layered up. This is a whole level and wall built right there. Kind of like little terraces, but then this little circular structure is really sweet too. Whoa, big old kiva pit right here. Little bits of pottery everywhere too, look at that. More little structure areas through here, guys. All these little mounds are like walls that were once up around here. You can see this old rubble. This was all different structures built into the side here. Oh, wow.
There's a nice little dock.
All right, guys, here's an up high view of some of these structures. We're up above on this big spot, and there are some different archaeological sites up here, but I want to bring your attention to all the rubble down here and the different sites down there. So you can see this is all a big structure. You can see the megaliths down there as well on the line right there. There's structures all down through here. You can see just all these little spots where you see rocks and rubble. Those were ancient sites. And it kind of runs all the way along this entire little ridge here. So if we look across, there's actually a granary up here on the cliff. Let's see if we go right over here. You can barely see the door right there. The entrance right there in the center of the screen. Well, this is pretty cool. There's like little steps in the rock right here. Check that out. Step, 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 step there. Wow. So there's the megalith wall right there. And here's the rubble. See the ruins just go along this entire ridge here. There's even rubble way down there. There's all kinds of little kivas and stuff. It's hard to kind of tell what it is, but with some archaeologist background, we can know what was over there. I found this big old lizard right here too. Look at this guy. All right, guys, check out this massive piece of pottery right here. Look at this. Wow. It's a beautiful big piece. There's some painted ones right here too. Look at that. That is so cool. So this was a little room, guys, at one point. You can see kind of the outline of a wall here. And a little petroglyph over there.
Really because of people that did it right. Maybe sick.
Maybe it was a cousin.
Guys, I just found this little piece on the ground. I'm wondering what it could have been. It's kind of like hollowed out in the middle, and then it's got a little hole on the side.